Sir, can you please show me your license and registration? I pulled you over because,
Too many avocados.
well, that's not so much the problem. I think you're planting avocados way too far north. Seriously.
The 40.
What do you have to say for yourself?
Guilty as charged.
Yeah. So, down here with my new best friend, Trent Sanders. This is a pretty cool dude. So, Trent bought, 3 or 4 trees for me a while back?
30 trees 3 years ago.
Okay, so he bought a bunch of trees 3 years ago. I guess that was a lot. Yeah, I remember now. I drove them like part way up here, and he picked them up, and he planted them, and they did so well, and he decided to get some more. But here's the weird thing. Up here, when we say up here, we really mean up here because we are really far up. Where are we?
Shelter Cove, California.
Shelter Cove, California. And if you look at the map, and now I know exactly how far away that is. Trent, when I told Trent the delivery fee for his 100 trees that he wants, the first time he wanted trees up here, I thought he was crazy, but he did it, and he proved me wrong that he's not crazy. Well, he's still a little crazy, but but the trees survived, which I was worried about. And not only survived, but thrived. But when Trent told me that when I gave him the delivery fee, he's like, "Oh, that's a good deal, but make sure to stop halfway down the mountain to let your brakes cool," which I did. That's when I should have charged him more for delivery. Anyway, Shelter Cove is way up north of where are we?
Mendocino and Fort Bragg.
North of Mendocino and Fort Bragg.
On the coast.
So these are all of Trent's trees. He's going with straight Haas here. He has what we think is a Haas. Pretty sure it's hard to tell because of the climatic conditions might be causing the tree to behave differently. And let's go show everybody where you're thinking about planting these trees here.
Yeah, we got a nice west slope. Perfect exposure, protected from the wind. Great loamy, black loamy, ancient slide material, mostly rock and sand. It really drains really well, so the avocados are gonna.
Do we call that schist?
thrive.
What do we call that kind of like
I don't know.
that rock
It's
in the soil out there?
It's like a shale.
Shaly.
It's a shaly. It looks like black soil, but it's not. It's mostly just rock and sand. So it's deceiving that it's like full of nutrients. It's really no nutrients, but it's a great medium.
So let's take a look at this here. As we shall see in Trent's backyard, he's having amazing success with these avocados. I mean, isn't Alaska like right up the street?
No, Alaska's a long ways away.
But Oregon's right up the street.
Oregon's right up the street, but the weather here is more similar to Santa Barbara because of its exposure to the south.
Right.
And the protection from the Cape, Mendocino.
So look at this soil here.
It's rocky and
So-
black. It's like dust. It's like
Yeah, so what's
powdered-
interesting,
It's like powdered.
what's interesting is down in the best avocado growing regions, it's all granitic, decomposed granite soil. In fact, that's what our trees are grown in over there. Just dig up the soil on site.
This is like shale rock. It's strange.
Yeah.
It's really strange because it's black, like it's nutrient rich, but it's completely devoid of any nutrients. But it drains better than any soil I've ever seen. It will not hold any kind of groundwater.
Yeah, so I think with the clay soils, that's a big
You see
issue.
this, like crosscut.
Yeah.
It's just rocks.
It's all rock in the profile here.
Fine
And-
rock with black dirt. It's weird.
And as we'll see, this soil is pretty much predominant in the whole site here, and Trent's having amazing success in the backyard with his avocados consistently. So these trees love this soil. We know that.
Yeah.
So what do you got? Like 100 trees. And what's nice about the slope is it's not so steep that you can't get up it with an ATV to be able to harvest all your fruit. Who are you going to sell this fruit to?
Direct to consumer
Right
on the streets
And
of Shelter Cove.
And you're the only player in town here.
The only one with more than one tree.
That is so great. All right, so tell me, let's go down here and take a look at your success story. I'm sure everybody's going to want to see that. And so Shelter Cove is this really unique place. It looks like a paradise, or like kind of like Fantasy Islandish if you look at it on the satellite Google view. And you'll see there's an airstrip right there. And maybe the little guy, what's the little guy's name in Fantasy Island? Rings the bell? Tito or Tonto or?
Forgot his name.
Yeah.
The plane.
The plane. Is there a guy like that down there?
No.
Because you're a pilot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So check this out. Trent, are you kidding me?
Hundreds.
What is going on? These trees are way more healthy than my trees at home. 5 hours south of here, which is 5 hours north of Santa Barbara. So
we're 10 hours north of Santa Barbara, but it's more similar to Santa Barbara than it would be to.
This
anywhere
is
else on the
just
coast south of here.
a Shangri-La. I don't know. I'm a little afraid if we put this video out, it's going to triple the population of Shelter Cove like in 2 years.
You never know.
This is crazy. You know, you could grow avocados here, ship them to Oregon, and be like, hey, this is your most local, sustainably produced avocado that you guys have right here from Shelter Cove. So Trent was telling me he's going to be buying all these properties here at Shelter Cove. He's got offers on all of them. He's going to basically create a Shelter Cove avocado company. He'll be the only one in Shelter Cove anymore. He'll be the only guy out in the surf. Is that
Yeah, right.
is that the
plan.
evil
Yep,
takeover plan?
Yep. Make sure no one else can surf it.
So anyway, so we think this may be a Haas. It's not quite paraform shaped like a Haas is on most of these. They're more rounded. If we could find a mature avocado, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Here's one. It's really hard to say. See how this avocado is really just consistently round. It's not long like a Haas. And here's another one showing that consistent shape. So I rolled in late last night with the idea that I was leaving, but it was so late and I was so afraid of that road. Didn't you see that road on World's Most Dangerous Roads show on the TV show?
Yeah, right.
Was it on there? Anyway, I ended up spending the night. So, and I also wanted to see this place in the daytime. But I guess, you know, this one, well, yeah. We're not entirely sure if this is a Haas. To me, it looks like it could be a MacArthur. You can see there's some mature fruit up there. I'll get a zoom on that. Right up in there. So you can see they're kind of more rounded than a Haas would be. But anyway, in any case, this tree is producing amazingly. And if this tree is going to do it, a Haas should do it as well. Now, tell me about this tree. Like, how long this is your first homestead tree? And why did you get the idea to plant an avocado tree at all?
There was another house down the road that had a tree that was like 40 years old. And it had avocados on it. I couldn't believe it. So I just went to the nursery and bought 2 random avocados and stuck them in 15 years ago. And so I can't remember I think it's a Haas. But I bought an A and a B. They said, oh, you want an A and a B? And so I said, oh, A and a B. I wasn't thinking Haas or a varietal. Right. I was thinking A and a B, so I put it in, and it almost died a couple times because it was little. Mm-hmm. And it was
what do you think caused it to almost die?
Well, it was a little tree, and it was kind of neglected, and it had a couple harsh winters when it first went in. And it just kind of hung in there. I almost killed it a couple times, and then finally something happened and it caught.
I've seen trees like that in my grow of like 15 years where they just sit around and barely stay alive, and then all of a sudden, bam,
boom.
They just take off.
Yeah, that's what happened to this one.
Right.
Probably gonna put this lawn in. The lawn wasn't here, and then it was just like a flat over here, and then I put the lawn in, and after I put the lawn in is when it went nuts.
Right. See what I'm talking about here? It just doesn't have that elongated Haas shape, but it could be that it's just very. Now the foliage on this thing does look Haas-like, very much Haas-like. Like that looks like signature Haas structure right there.
I'm guessing it's a Haas because the nursery probably wouldn't get the local nursery. I think they would buy like a Haas.
Yeah, it's most likely they
buy
were selling Haas. I mean, it's not likely they were selling a MacArthur or stuff that people try so hard to get they can't get.
Yeah.
I mean, so, okay, so let's take a look at what else you've got going on here, just to kind of prove the point. So you bought a bunch of trees from me. I thought you were crazy. I said, well, no guarantee, bro. Good luck. Yeah. And then he ends up growing trees that are healthier and happier than mine.
That's a reed.
Got a reed right there.
There's a bunch of reeds.
See if I get a close-up of some of the fruit on the reed. It's fruiting really well.
That's this year's fruit set.
Now what's interesting is the reed is sort of known for being tough to fruit because it's a more tropical version of the avocados. It's got a lot of Guatemalan seed in it, genetics. But as you can see, so has the reed been consistently fruiting?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's consistent. This is the 3rd year, and
got a new friend.
It's Winston.
That's right. Hi, Winston. Does Winston like avocados? Dogs love avocados. Yeah. That's why your fur looks so pretty and shiny.
And we gotta hide him because he'll get them all.
Right. So you've got Fajoya here. You get a lot of Fajoyas. Actually, I see them. There they are. There's a bunch of them on there.
Quite a bit.
Right. Now, did you know you can eat the blossom of those things? They're really good. Tastes
Oh,
like
really?
bubble gum.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
I
Just
eat the fruit.
the petals. You actually don't even have to kill the little
The seed.
embryo
Oh, really?
to do that. You can just eat the petals off. I need to make a video on that.
These are green and lamb hoss. The darker green ones are lamb hoss.
Lark.
This is a lamb
Okay,
hoss.
so these are lamb hoss down here, right?
Yeah, those are lamb hoss.
That looks like
this
lamb
This
hoss.
one's actually a lamb hoss.
That's a lamb hoss, right? It's got that cupped kind of leaf.
Cupped and darker.
Yeah.
And not as bush, not as round.
Yeah. These seem to have like a shinier foliage. They have just a real distinctive leaf look to them. I'll get a close up on that. Yeah, so we've got this slope out here.
This is the pollinator. I'm not sure what.
Yeah, it's hard to say what this is here. There are some fruit on it, not many. Here's one.
This is the most fruit it's ever had.
Possibly a bacon or
It's the most fruit it's ever had.
a,
It usually just throws flowers and nothing happens. This
Yeah.
year it actually fruited. Here's a nice little fruit.
You got one over there?
It's a nice one developing.
I mean, it's a pretty darn happy plant.
It's healthy. It just doesn't fruit. But this
See
year
if I get a
has
shot of a fruit right in front of the ocean.
pretty much the best year it's ever done for fruiting.
There's the ocean off in the distance. I don't know if you can see that. And Trent's pollinator. So, have you? When does this fruit mature on this tree? Does it mature earlier than Haas?
About the same time.
Because my bacon.
It does these mutant ones that don't develop.
Yeah,
See
those
these
are called
mutants?
Cukes.
They won't develop. They
Well-
won't. But this one will.
Yeah,
That's gonna
so
turn into a
the
fruit.
Cukes,
See, that'll turn into a fruit.
they actually sell this as a novelty food item. These usually get about this long.
That's all they do, yeah.
And you can pick
I've
them,
never
and
tried
they'll.
to ripen one.
Oh, they're really good.
Oh, they
There's
are?
no seed inside.
Oh, really?
It's like a carrot. It's like a cracker-sized avocado. That's obviously a reed right there. You can tell by looking at the foliage. That's a
There's a
reed.
reed.
Yeah.
That's a lamb hoss right there.
Yeah, that darker
more
green.
vigorous.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I guess the lamb hoss. Also, the reed is known as a semi-dwarf, so it's part of the reason why it's not as vigorous. And you've got different limes. You showed me a lime on the driveway. That limes are pretty tender.
that lime
And,
goes. That
and
lime's
a
super
lime
vigorous.
is like a full-on weed.
It's out of control.
Well, here we are. We could probably talk about the microclimate of this place a little bit just from this vantage point. Now,
That's due
Trent.
west.
that's due west that way. So
Yeah.
this looks like almost like the Santa Barbara Mountains that protect Santa Barbara from the harsh western winds and fog that come in.
Yeah, that's Kings Range Mountain, part of Kings Range mountain range.
Okay.
It really protects us from the cold northwest winds that whip in the winter and summer.
Mm-hmm.
So, on the other side of that range, it'll be jacket weather,
Right.
even in the summer. And here, you'll be like 85 degrees, like at the pool swimming,
Wow.
in your shorts at 7 in the morning. But on
So-
the other side of that one, the fog, you can almost see the fog line comes off that gorda.
Right.
There'll be a big fog line and a wind line. You'll see the fog out
Yeah.
to sea, and the fog will kind of wrap around, and the fog will come back onto shore about 10 miles south of here.
So that's exactly what happens at Stinson Beach,
Yep.
Santa Cruz. You can sit out, in the surf lineup in
can
Santa
see the
Cruz,
fog line.
and just watch the fog moving across
Yeah.
and slamming into Monterey.
Exactly.
So there's only a few places on the California coast you get this condition. First of all, it's the entire Southern California because of Point Conception that goes out. That's the largest south-facing, coastline in California. And because of that, with some stuff that takes too long to explain, the ocean is colder, and consequently the air temperature is colder south of San Diego in Baja, northern Baja, than it is in all of Southern California. And then the next place that's like that is Santa Cruz, which is a pretty large facing south coastline, a lot like right here. And then you've got Stinson Beach does the same thing to a smaller degree. And then what I didn't know is there was a magical place
Shelter Cove.
5 hours north of Stinson Beach up here where no one
It's
knows.
less foggy here
Yeah.
than Santa Cruz most of the time.
Right. And this is like off topic, but Trent will take off from the little Fantasy Island airstrip here in Shelter Cove and fly 9 or 10 miles due west and land right there on a little strip next to the ocean to go surf a point break over there. And that's just epic. So once he told me that story, I'm like, okay, I'm coming back. We're going to do that. So isn't this the place where those guys that used to rob all the banks hid out?
I don't know about
the guy,
that.
the guys that were in the Point Break movie?
Yep.
This is where they went, right? They had the landing strip,
You
you
can
know.
say
And
that, yeah.
they hung out right here. That's probably they surfed that Point Break with you, right?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah,
That's the
this is
movie
where the
based on.
movie was inspired by. So, well, you know, he's got all kinds of subtropical plants all over the place.
Passion vine's going crazy. That's one. Vine.
Yeah, we don't. Well, let's just show the lime, and then we'll end on the lime because
The lime's massive.
videos. People don't want videos that go on forever. Now, here's the interesting thing too. Trent has these gopher dissuader electronic devices that I'm hearing going off out here. It's like, brr, brr, and I'm seeing gopher holes everywhere.
Yeah, I just put those in.
Yeah, I heard the thing go off. Now, the question here, Trent.
The gophers are out of control here.
I know, I could tell. The question here is, have you ever lost an avocado tree to gophers?
No, they haven't messed with the gophers.
See, that's my theory here. That is
They don't
just
mess
an
with the avocados.
amazing picture. I'm gonna take a hard picture of that, put it on the website.
They eat everything else, but they don't mess with avocados.
So there's something, and also citrus. You ever lost a citrus to a gopher? So there's something in the root systems of avocados and citrus that dissuade gophers from eating them. And I have no idea what it is, but I've always had this theory that basically states that gophers do not eat avocados
They
or
don't
citrus.
because they've killed huge yuccas. They've killed massive flax plants.
Yeah.
But they won't mess with the avocados or the citrus.
Yeah. So
They'll dig around them, but they won't kill them.
I think this site here confirms my theory. Now, I have gophers on my hill, and I've never lost an avocado to gopher. So maybe we don't need to worry about caging our
There's an area
avocados.
just north here called Gopherville.
Gopherville.
And the Russians tried to settle it, and they abandoned it because the gophers were so intense they couldn't do any of that farming.
So the gophers were tougher than the Russians?
Yep, they had to leave. The gophers ran them out.
So maybe if we have a problem with Putin, we just send a bunch of gophers over there and airdrop them in,
They
and
won't be able to farm.
no
and they'll
problem.
move away.
All right, let's look at this lime tree that kind of tells the story of this place.
The lime tree we have to cut. I have to cut 10 feet out of it a year almost because it gets so big I can't drive down the driveway.
So I don't know the name of this cactus. This cactus kind of tells a story too, a little bit.
The big ones.
That's a San Pedro right there, or no?
Those are.
Yeah.
That one I don't know.
You don't know the name of this one?
No.
I'm wondering if that's a Pachyceras pringli, native to Baja. They look like big saguaros, but they're not. Saguaro just won't grow here at all. But can you get like here, hold this thing. You're gonna be the cameraman. I'm gonna show
How big it is?
how chubby I am next to.
It's a big cactus.
That's a big cactus, so it's actually bigger than me.
When I planted it, it was probably about 3 to 4 feet tall.
Yeah, and so what this actually tells you is that, well, you can like here. This is another thing. Now, when you unexpectedly spend the night at someone's house and you're too embarrassed to ask them for a little bit of deodorant in the morning, this is what
There
you
you
do.
go.
This is lavender. Trent, as if the dream couldn't get any better, is starting a lavender farm too. He's gonna be selling all this stuff to spice and artists. You could come up and buy a bunch of the stuff, fruit and lavender and art from Trent. They're gonna have a little farm stand down here. But when you come here and you spend the night, you can get this lavender. And all you need to do is do your natural
There you go.
fragrance. And now no one will know that you actually stink like that. You'll feel really good. It's therapeutic. And that's how you do it. Sorry about the mess, Trent. There you go. But here's the lime tree. This is where we're going to end our fantasy garden tour. And tell me about the lime tree, Trent. What happened here?
Well, I planted it. They said it was a dwarf bare slime,
Yeah.
and it gets like 20 feet tall every year, and I have to cut every few years. I got to cut like 10 or 15 feet out of it because it just gets so big, it gets out of control, and I can't even
Yeah.
into the driveway, and then branches are breaking in the windstorm, so it's pretty vigorous.
And so this is what caused your pitcher a day margarita habit?
Yep.
Yeah. So
I don't.
and you
I don't water it.
so have you and what are you doing with all the fruit?
We sell it and give
Where's
it away.
the fruit? Oh, that's right there. There's the fruit. Yeah, and you actually sell it. There's a whole bunch of fruit. Well, you know, these limes get expensive. There's a whole like thing going on with avocados and limes down in Mexico, where all the cartels are like, "Hey, we could actually extort money out of these people
Make some money.
and cut off their workers' hands if they don't pay us."
Jeez.
And so there's been a tough time getting some of the fruit up here, and so the prices have kind of skyrocketed. So you could have like a little bit of a profit center just from this tree right here. All right, well, there you go. He's got all kinds of subtropicals here. He's got tree ferns. He's got agaves, cycads, blooming jasmine, night blooming jasmine, Mexican bamboo over there, Odotea. And then I took one look at his pool area here and decided that Trent needs to get into palm trees. There's the pool area. And I walked by, and look, here's another indicator. Dippeldania. Firing. That's crazy. That's a Southern California. I don't even try that in Richmond. I don't know what you're doing here, bro, but this is, look at that. It just loves it here. But anyway, I'm talking Trent into putting a bunch of palms, I think, on that slope up there above the pool. There's some opportunities up there, and I think once he does that, then you really can't improve upon his life. And that's going to be it right there. All right, Trent, any final words? I'm going to have you stand in front of your paradise of ocean, which you can't really see because it's blown out. But anyway, there's an ocean over there. Trent's standing in front of it. Any last words?
I'm just excited to be the biggest avocado farmer in Northern California.
I think you're the farthest north avocado farmer in the Western Hemisphere.
Yep, probably.
And we are exactly at 40.03 degrees north latitude. I challenge anyone to have a successful avocado grove north of that point. And that's where we end it. And I will show you the ocean one more time. And it will show itself once I properly zoom it. No, it won't.
It's blown out.
It's blown out. All right, that's it.